This is Arif Halaby on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Hey, welcome to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. Arif Halaby and Jeff Girard. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Santa Clarita, it's great to have you here with us every week at this time, talking about your family's finances, Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. Really, it's designed to help you understand and have a better, I would say a more comfortable feeling about money. Because look, I'll tell you, when I was a kid and I sat around the dinner table, we didn't talk about money. We're probably just like every other family out there, wouldn't you say, Arif?
Yeah, I would say a lot of families don't really feel like money is a comfortable issue to talk about at the dinner table. You know, how many times people said, "Oh, you don't ask them how much money they make. That's just not polite."
That's right.
Like somebody made that up. You know, I don't know, maybe if it's really polite or not, but somebody made it up somewhere that it's not polite to ask somebody how much money they make. Maybe, probably like, you know, hey, Jeff, how are you? How much do you weigh anyway? Yeah. Right? You wouldn't ask that, or you know, how old you are. That's not polite. You don't ask a woman how old she is. All right, I guess so. So many times people don't realize that because we are all paid in money, it's the elephant in the room. And what does that mean? It means that it's the most obvious thing taking place at this moment in time, and yet you don't even know how your money works. You don't know the difference between a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, a 401k, or a 40 who knows what. And you don't even know what pre-tax and post and gross and net. Look, I'm not telling you this so that you'll feel bad. I want you to realize that it's not, okay, it kind of is your fault, but not really. You know, at least the moment you hear this, the problem is you can't unhear things, right? Just like you can't unsee things. The moment you hear this, you now know that the responsibility has transferred from our school institutions that have really become, ask educators. In some cases, it's babysitting, right? They have the disorderly kids on one side and the gifted kids in another, and they're trying to teach to the middle. And sometimes it's difficult when you have the most disruptive people in the room. And yet, by the way, we ask them to teach our kids about money. That's not their job. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. History, and open their eyes to the imagination, right? Schools have a different job. They're supposed to learn about money, commerce, business at home. And if your parents aren't good with money, then certainly you're probably not going to be good. But the benefit is, in the last 20 years today, all of this information, you can learn to buy a car. You can learn, I said this over the weekend and made somebody laugh. I said, you can speak Chinese, you can learn to speak Chinese on your cell phone and never even see a Chinese person, right? With Google Translate, and this is pretty incredible. And so today, when people have money problems or they don't understand, it isn't because of anybody else's problem now. It's not anybody else's fault. It's now yours, right? If knowledge was power, wouldn't we all be kings and queens, right? Because on your hip is every single beautiful piece of art ever done. Renoir, Monet, Gauguin, Paris, Louvre. You may never even go to the most amazing museum, I think, in the world, is the Louvre in Paris, and yet you can see every single picture right on your cell phone in about 15 seconds at free Wi-Fi. So why is it that if knowledge and art and music and philosophy and all of those wonderful things that people spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to send and years to send their kids to college, if knowledge is no longer found in some brick ivy building, then why aren't we all rich, famous, wealthy, whatever? Well, I think it's because the basics were missed. And in that dinner party, when everybody talks about big words and fancy mergers and acquisitions and the stock market and what's the beta and blah, right? When all of that is talked about and you have no clue what's going on, because look, that's not your job, but it became your job. When suddenly people have money in their own accounts and it is their responsibility and not a government and not a pension from a company, how do you know what's right? That's what Total Financial Solutions, that's what we try to do every week. That's right. We do our best to come to you from noon until 2 and to give you just a little bit of advice to move you in the right direction so that you can take that information and create, if you will, what's right for you. Because look, nobody If you think you're going to listen to a lady who screams and calls you names on television, or a guy who hits buttons and throws things, if you think that person knows you, they don't. Right? I don't know you. Nobody does. You have to take this information. You can meet with them or us or anybody individually. That's different. But you take this and you use that as like the foundation to ask the right questions for you. When we come back, we're going to get into the difference between a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, and as we are starting 2015, let's get back to the basics. This year is going to be full of basics of insurance, of checking and savings accounts, credit unions. We're going to get into the differences between the retirement accounts. So you can listen to every Tuesday and archive every Tuesday, and you will have an opportunity, in my opinion, to have better than a 4-year degree in business, because instead of talking about some random third-party company and a balance sheet, we're going to talk about you, your balance sheet, your home, your finances. Right here when we continue. I'm Arif Halaby with Jeff Girard, and this is Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. I'm Arif on AM 1220 KHTS. Hey, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. Okay, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk in 2015 the differences. I guess just the differences in what we think we know, what we're supposed to know for sure, and certainly the facts of what we do. You know, why is it that so many people can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and let's say pick a 10-year period of time, right? If somebody earns $50,000 a year, 10 years, average, that's $500,000.
That's a lot of money. And the only difference, and I have to give you the credit for this, Arif, the only difference between somebody that at the end of those 10 years and has made that $500,000 or that $500,000 that has something and somebody that doesn't is that the person with something at the end knew what to do with it. They knew how to keep more at the end, whether it was giving it away to the government in taxes, whether it was spending it frivolously, or maybe they thought that they had to spend the money the way they did.
Yeah.
And if you don't condition yourself to think that you need to pay yourself first and make yourself the most important and your family the most important, you're going to lose all day long. Everybody else will win. You know, and you've said it, you know, the dry cleaners, their kid's going to go to college. Guy at the gas station, he's going to have a fantastic vacation. Everybody else will retire just fine. But why? It's because you went to work for it.
That's right. They all expected you to go to work.
Correct.
If you're renting an office or you're renting a home or so, you go to work so that those people can sleep in. You have to look at it that way, because if you don't, you'll be on this treadmill for years. And then one day you'll wake up in the midlife crisis because you look at your husband or your wife and you know that they're a little older and okay, and whatever you thought, you know, like I came to realization. I'm going to share this with you guys. There's only a couple of you listening. Here it is. I am not going to be an astronaut.
Wait a minute.
I know. You know, messed up knee and a back here now and again. And, you know, I'm getting a little older. And my whole life I thought I still had a chance to be an astronaut. Isn't that weird? And that is something that in my mid-40s, I like to still say mid-40s, my mid-40s, I still look and go, you know, there's some things that I'm just not going to be able to do in this life. And you have to be okay with that. I don't know, ladies, maybe it's being a supermodel or being a super mom, right? Maybe you're just going to do the darnest best you can. I'm not a fan of the word try because it doesn't always include do your best. People will say, oh, that's what I mean. Try, do your best. No, that's not what you mean. You mean try. Because if your children did their best to clean their room or they did their best to do their homework, that's different than trying, right? It would get done most of the time unless you don't have that bright kids or you have somebody who doesn't understand what the word clean means, right? You know that. So when I say do your best, that's different. That means you're putting 100% into it. That means you're going full speed ahead. That means you're going in, you're committed, you're focused. So you're going to do your best to be financially more savvy 1 year from today. Every financial blogger in the world will tell you, save $5 a week, a day, a month, skip a meal, skip a latte. I don't care about that. I care about you changing who you are. If you're somebody who looks in the mirror and says, world, accept me for who I am, all right, then you're going to get what you get. If you're a lousy person, if you're grumpy, if you're a complainer, and you want the world to accept you for who you are, expect to have fewer friends. If you're going to say, accept me who I am, I need to feel better by buying 3 purses and 6, new golf clubs every month, and they just accept me the way, fine, then you're going to have credit card debt. You're going to be financially struggling all your life. I think it's a phony thing to just accept the way you are when it means your faults. And then people, oh, well, that's what I meant, the good stuff of who I am, not the bad stuff. Well, then mean it and say it. This is your financial life. You understand that nobody else is going to care about this better than you. Nobody. Not me, not the guy on TV, not anybody. It's going to be you and your family that have to sit down every day, and you have to budget and you plan. And the way you do it, Jeff hit it on the head. You pay yourself first. You would fill up, if your car was on empty and the little yellow light was on and you had to get to work and you knew you couldn't make it, you would pull the car over into the closest gas station, not care about the price, right? Usually you might go across town to save 40 cents, a tank or something. But instead you would pull into the closest gas station, pay whatever the price is, because you absolutely needed to get to work. I need you to act with that same urgency to your financial health. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the very first place to save before a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Very first, and then we'll even cover the second before the end of the hour when we get back on your place for news, talk, and information. Arif Halaby on AM 1220 KHTS.